are back with Tim Tayshun. Bitcoin Video Magazine issue number 2 is out, and the temptation is there to watch it more than once. So I wanted to have Tim back with the release. He's working on these steadily, putting in hours of work, all the video work, the contributions, the collaborations, the fit and finish video work. It's really pretty to watch and sit back and enjoy. So with that, you all may have known him, introduced him before on this podcast. He was on some months ago for issue number 1. We're back with issue number 2. Tim, welcome back. I'm glad to have you on the podcast.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
How many hours would you imagine you have worked on this issue number 2? I was going to toss it up real quick here just so that people know, and you can find it on YouTube. You can find Bitcoin Video Magazine. Watch it when you can. Compared to episode 1, issue number 1 to issue number 2, I know it's a lot, but how did this last one feel?
I was super stoked on it at the final edit. We pushed out something perhaps a little bit prematurely to make it for Vegas on the Tuesday, the 26th, I think it was, and there were a couple segments that were just simply too long. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You're good.
So this release, which we just dropped on Friday, addressed that, and we chiseled the first chapter, News Desk, down to about 6 minutes, and the podcast highlights, cut out 2 of those sections and moved them into the credits section. We kind of redistributed the remaining parts of News Desk, put 2 1-minute pieces near the mining, on each side of the mining section, which is chapter 6, and then made actually a post credits because we didn't know what else to do.
I saw that. I saw the credits roll, and I'm like, wait, there's still like 10 or 15 minutes left, and you had an encore. So
yeah. So this was really fun, and I mean, of course, it's tedious, and I would say that it's really close to 200 hours of editing that goes into making a 1-hour Bitcoin Video Magazine. And luckily it's not just me. I'm really thankful for a great team. I have Fourth Wall Digital, which is Joe Hernandez, who's my AI expert and co-producer. He's been into the AI space about 4.5 years, which is ancient in terms of that space, in terms of video and stuff. And then my associate producer is from Germany, Bitcoin Bazooka.
Bazooka, right.
And he's awesome. He's this super talented, both artistic and autistic guy. And he's
a behind the scenes kind of a guy.
Yeah, but he was actually featured in chapter 3 as the artist in lifestyle and culture. And cat. I was really yes, totally. So Bitcoin Bazooka is the cat, and he helped. He and I have been talking since really, for sure at least last fall. So many months before, or at least several months before, even issue number 1 came out, and he was just like someone that I could talk to at weird hours because he was in Germany, and we developed a good friendship, and he was showing me some of his art and music and things like this, and I just thought he was a really cool guy, and he was just spoke the truth and was honest about his feelings and interpretations, and that's something that I think is important, and that's needed at times, because I think all of us in the Bitcoin space could get a little bit crazy and go off the side of the tracks sometimes. Sure. And sometimes you need friends to kind of put you back in line and give you some perspective.
The truth is not completely conformist.
Yeah.
That's why people can't handle the Overton window shifts, and they just can't handle it because it's outside the norm. So
yeah, and then the 4th member of the team really is Gen X BTC, and he's been much behind the scenes, but really working on our web development. He's made us some really good connections within the space, and provided some good introductions. And he's a super well respected artist in the community and makes super high quality apparel. Actually, he gave me this
Nice.
this shirt right before Vegas, which is really cool, and I was stoked to wear that. That's where I had my custom name lapel.
Your badge, your napkin badge.
Yeah,
That I was going to say, that looks like the same shirt.
yeah, it is indeed. I've probably been wearing it almost every day.
Every day since. It's got the smell of Vegas in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when people watch video, and one thing I noticed from issue 1 to issue 2, the cuts are a little shorter. Things move along. You keep it moving along, and I mean, of course, it's gonna, as you do this and as you work on it, it just gets better and better. I enjoyed it. Issue 1 was great as well. Issue 2 I liked a lot, and people take for granted how much work it takes for just minute by minute, by clip, all the little details. When you're watching it, you just appreciate it, the vibe, or the gestalt of it all. When you do video work, for those that haven't done video work, you don't even realize sometimes how kind of fun and yet tedious it can be, because like you're adding effects or you're doing stuff, and then it can be repetitive, it can be highly detailed, or it's like, it's not just quite right. If you're
right, it's not hitting this certain beat. Like right when the drum claps, it's the movement isn't synced sometimes, right? And so
right.
Like my girlfriend will be like, oh my God, do we have to listen to this again? Because it's like 20, 30 times in a row, and you're moving things a frame, two, 3 frames this way, a frame back, another frame, just stuff like that. So yeah, it's a trip for sure.
If it's a millisecond off, people will notice that, or subconsciously it just is off. But when it's spot on, it's just like, oh, it's natural.
It slaps when it's on, for sure.
And also, so for people that when you go to, we'll find it here, YouTube at Bitcoin Video Magazine. What I like about it, and I don't know that it'll play as well streaming this way, but what I like about it in the comments, or in your description, I should say, all the shout outs, all the bits and pieces. So chapter by chapter, and you can see how many little cuts there are, but you got the chapters and who is referenced in it. And that's a nice little way to jump in it. Or say there's somebody something you like, something you want to share. You can grab these chapters, share a little bit, and something in here, maybe somebody's particular hook that you connect them with, So that's cool.
If you wanted to see chapter 6 and see your buddy Cinco Dogos for Cinco mining, you would click just on I think you just passed it, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe not.
Let me go down again.
I think you would click the first side of the link. Yeah. And this is the mining. This is it right here. So it goes directly to it, which is really cool. We didn't do that in issue number 1. We should have. But I mean, if there's a section that you're like, meh, I don't want to see AI news people or whatever, some of this is pretty experimental. I think it's we're not a podcast, and we're not long form like that, but we're also not a reel, but we're somewhere in between. So it's kind of, people don't really know what to expect, I think. And I think that if you come in and you're like, I'm just going to relax and watch Bitcoin stuff for an hour, I think you'll come away with a lot of entertainment, and it'll make a lot more sense than if you're just browsing and looking, for doom. If you're doom scrolling, you may miss it.
Yeah, and then I was going to try to find Bitcoin Bazooka on here. I can't remember where he was.
Chapter 3, actually.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Artist profile, Bitcoin Bazooka. So part of the magic behind a lot of these.
Oh, never mind. You don't need to hit the sound. You could, but anyhow.
Yeah. So now in this view, I don't have the audio going, but
no worries.
Bazooka with his cat. I have it in another tab. The only tab it'll play in with audio, which I have to do separately. Anyway, but technical stuff. So Yeah, great job to the team. So now part of it, it's a multifaceted set of skills you got to have, because it's not just video editing or knowing stuff about Bitcoin and art and how things look with style or whatever. You've got to reach out to a lot of people and connect to the community in a whole lot of ways. You must have made contact after contact after contact, plus soliciting for, hey, make a little video, send me a little thing, be part of this. You're an evangelist, and you're, as part of the promotion of it, there's promotion outward to the audience, and then there's also promotion internally with collaborations and getting the content, because you can't just, I mean, you can grab and borrow and use and share, but people got to give you stuff too, right?
Absolutely, and that's what this business model is actually built off of. Is we do some of our own filming and some of our own content collection and stuff like that, but really this is a community-driven project, and so X is like one giant phone book of leads that refreshes itself every few minutes, and so I like to say that every Bitcoiner has a story, and some of those stories are more interesting than others. And so we seek out interesting Bitcoin pleb stories, etc., and we reach out to 10 or 20 people, and out of that, one or two of them come back to us and they're like, oh, this is interesting, tell me more. And from that, maybe one of them is like, oh, totally, we'll do something, let's commit, I'll start sending you stuff or whatever. So following it through to fruition is, I guess, the biggest challenge, because and right now we have a pretty big runway. I mean, I would say we're kind of quarterly-ish, with the goal of moving towards bi-monthly next, and then hopefully by the beginning of next year, or maybe even the end of next year. Well, I think probably the beginning of next year, our goal would be to go monthly, and then into this year monthly, late summer into this year monthly, and then at some point next year bi-weekly. But of
Nice.
course,
Wow.
we'll have to have the viewership, and people will have to be talking about it enough to be able to justify that, to have sponsors that want to support us, to so we can do that, because in order to go bi-weekly, it would require a lot more editing.
Yeah, yeah, and when
which
the
could be great.
yeah, totally. And when the community grows and people are sending you stuff, I had it up on screen here. I paused it because so, hey, podcasters and viewers, send in 30 seconds to about a minute, or
Yeah,
2 minutes,
30 to 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing too long, but if you got little clips, little funny things, or you just man on the street record. I saw, like Bring Facts played a song, and
Yep.
um,
Yep.
and and so lots of cool little. I mean, people love that. A lot of different diverse quantity of things and fun shorts, and so send them in. You can go to bitcoinvideomagazine.com
Yep.
//best and send in stuff. And then with also affiliates and partners. So if there's people out there with an entity that wants to, promote, support, be part of it in more of an affiliate or official way, you can collaborate. So reach out to Tim that way, right, as well, right? On X or elsewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
What's
Yeah.
the best way to connect with you? If somebody wants to do that,
I
should
think
they go to that?
On X probably is the best way. We're still playing around with the website a little bit. I don't even know if that /best works, but if you go to Bitcoin Video Magazine, there is a place to connect. But if you want a quick response, then I think X is probably the best way, and I'll respond pretty quickly on X.
So you
I
can
mean,
also,
I still work a full-time, fiat job at this time. I'm down to 4 days from 5 days a week, which is awesome.
that helps.
So I'm starting to, make the move in the direction of leaving the mines entirely. But that'll take time, effort, and we're just going to have to do an excellent job, and it's going to take discipline, and and more velocity. We're going to have to put these out more frequently. But I think that, that we're in that direction. I think everything good happens slowly, then suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see, I was going to find the link here, but yeah, so bitcoinvideomagazine.com. You can go there, see the past issues, current issues, contact us. There's a form there you can submit.
Yep.
Connect with Tim. There's also on X, you can find at Bitcoin Video Mag, and you yourself, Tim
Temptation
Tayshun.
or Easy Coin Access. And that's the letter E, the letter Z as in Zeta, coinaccess.com. And that was incidentally the first company I tried to start, which was a Bitcoin ATM company back in 2014. And so I just let that website stay up as a kind of a thing of provenance to show that. And I'd been in the Bitcoin ATM space, which we talked about last episode,
Yeah.
for, from 2014 to, maybe just kind of last year, we began unwinding the Bitcoin ATM network that we had built.
Yeah, and just on that, no, it must be a hard business, or as you know, there was some news I heard just this past week. There was a Bitcoin ATM company, I think, filing for bankruptcy, but so many people can on ramp in different ways, or they're not thinking about going non KYC so much, or whatever, however they work. But you, this is probably more creative, fun type work compared to what that was. You think?
Yeah, definitely. I did a lot of fraud prevention in the Bitcoin ATM space, which was good, and it was a good service to do. But it wasn't anything as fun as this. I mean, when you and I were talking a couple of days ago in chatting in a thread, I was telling you how I was upstairs just editing by myself. And my girlfriend at one point came up because she heard me just laughing hysterically for like
Yeah.
10 minutes straight. And she comes up there and and there I am by myself just laughing. I mean, maybe I'm it's I made myself laugh with some of the edits, and I try to convey some comedy and have some little hidden innuendos and stuff like this, bury some little Easter eggs here and there. So that's fun. I get a big kick out of that.
Yeah. I have done, like everything from family home videos to a little bit of just professional work on a small side gig business for a while, but it is a lot of work, but you get sucked into it. And then there's times where it's like, even though I don't have to get the kind of perfect quality for the audience all the time, I'll know it, I'll see it, and
Yeah.
you like it to be good, and so you lean in and you tweak and tweak and tweak, and you just want it all dialed in and crisp and fun. And then later, sometimes I'll finish something and I'll go back and I'll see something. I'll be like, oh, there's something. Nobody's going to notice it necessarily,
Right. Yeah.
but then it's fun too, because you can do things like that, or that polish that you add to it, and crack yourself up and make it funny, or just interesting, or little Easter eggs, inside jokes. There was one, the phone booth you were telling me about. Let me put that up real quick, if I can find
Sure.
it. So, yeah, they're the third place.
It's after Bitcoin on the streets is where that is. That's
So I don't know if
Bitcoin on the streets.
that's a story you want to tell, but it was a funny recorded phone call you
I can
had.
tell it. I don't care. This industry is both the best and the worst industry in the whole world. There's so many great, cool people, and then there's also some people that aren't so great, and maybe some people did just don't know, or just inundated with too busy or something. I don't know. So that's kind of what this mock-up thing was.
Yeah. When I do a podcast too, I mean, I'll just say everyone's great. Bitcoiners are great. I'm just going to say the people are great. Now, I will just, to not get judgmental about it, there are times when I chalk it up to, okay, people are busy, or distracted, or they're focused on, you're focused on your thing, or you have a conversation and you get busy. And then, so then when, you see somebody again, or you have a conversation, you're like, oh yeah, what was that? Oh wait, who are you again? Oh yeah, yeah. And you mean well.
Yeah.
I'm going to presume the best. You mean
Yeah.
well, but then sometimes the ships don't hit each other across the ocean. And anyway,
That
people
was
don't
a
always resonate.
that was a very parallel reality to it was very parallel to reality, but it was a little bit different circumstances. And of course, I was the voice on both ends of the phone, and so that was fun and funny to do. Is I was basically talking to myself and listening to myself, recording, and then responding to myself, and in order to create that little scene right there, which had to do with a prize giveaway. That when I went to give away the prizes, they did like, what, who are you?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, okay.
Maybe I can find it here on this tab. Where is it?
You were just on it. You were just.
Hold. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm gonna, so I can play the audio portion of it. Hold on. Bear with me. This is a little. This is my junkiness.
No worries. Take your time.
Okay, so that was at
That's Thomas Grobot and one of the guys with Bull Bitcoin down in Argentina at Escuelita Cordoba, I think it was called. And so Thomas, he and his wife during COVID, they ran a small business, had like 5 employees, and they're living in France. COVID goes down, and they're like, this is kind of just all bullshit. Let's just sell everything, buy Bitcoin, and travel the world. And so that's exactly what they did. And I had kind of been seeing him on X and on Nostr, like posting these like motorcycle rides and stuff like this. I'm like, dude, this would be an amazing story. And so I reached out to him, and he sent me like over an hour of footage. I was like, yes.
Yeah, he had a long, good slot in there, because what he's doing is amazing. I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of miles they're driving, but they're going all the way across the continent.
Yeah, and look at these roads. Like, this is like these. I'm sure they're hundreds of miles from anywhere, and that didn't look like a road to me at all.
Yeah, right. I mean, in some countries, that's the road. So
yeah.
And as they go along, they're meeting people and interviewing people, telling their story, and they can connect globally from wherever they're at. Okay, so let's see here. 50. Where was that? No, 47. To play your funny little clip of the.
It's right after this. Here it is, right there. You got it.
Let me turn this up.
Yep.
You can hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Liam? Who's this? It's Tim with Bitcoin Video Magazine. Bitcoin Video Magazine. You sponsored our Genesis issue.
That's supposed to be like a trophy.
It's a Bitcoin video series. You said you'd trade us a few shirts. Wasn't that like 6 months ago? I know, that was a while ago. Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. Anyway, we have some prize winners for 2 shirts. And hello?
He hung up on you.
Hello? You want to record yourself karaoke?
Anyway, I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a kick out of that. My girlfriend thought I was nuts for just cackling. Like I was like bellowing and laughing. And she's like, what are you doing? Are you going mad? I'm all, no, babe, you're going to love this. I'm almost done. You're going to love it.
Yeah, it made for a funny little segment. And anyway. Just all in fun, It's just all in fun. It's nothing like horrible, negative. So let's see. Tell me about, what was Vegas like for you? I saw you again in Vegas. I was kind of hostage for a lot of the whole conference. I was kind of hostage for our deal here, MicroSeed, at the booth. But I saw you. I was like, Tim, and
yeah, that was awesome.
And I knew that issue 2 was just coming out, and you had either just dropped it or were about to drop it, right?
Yeah, we had just dropped it like that morning.
Yeah.
But that was the little bit premature version. And so we listened to the markets and got some feedback and made what you are showing right now with that's just a lot more condensed in the first 8 chapters. And every issue has 8 chapters, and as well as some sub chapters and then what we call bumpers. But Vegas was good, but it was great. It was actually really good. I showed you this.
Yeah.
Did I get to
I was
give
going
you
to
one of
ask
those
about
yet?
that.
Because
I have mine.
oh, good. I did give you one. Awesome.
Yeah. So so tell us about that. You gave me one of those. I've got it. I think it's behind me. I wanted to ask you about that. Well, yeah, it's quite a production, and it's got tech and a record inside. So tell
Right.
us.
So I'm an audiophile. I love music. I have probably 2,000 records on vinyl. The whole kind of theme of Bitcoin Video Magazine is what I call cypherpunk rock. And so I thought that this would be a perfect little kind of promotion for it. So we have an album sleeve with the Genesis issue on the front, and then we have a issue number 2 on the back, and there's like a couple fun little Easter eggs here. Even there's the date 1984 and 2009 on there on the back of this, and this is like a Japanese import kind of thing, and that was just something I thought would be cool to kind of and actually it's a Susie and the Banshees wrap for incidentally.
Nice.
And I thought that just having this kind of infers that this is kind of a global thing, right? The Bitcoin Video Magazine is. And then we have on the inside, we have this little disc, right? That's smaller than a CD, just slightly smaller. And you have a side A and a side B here. If I had an extra phone, I could actually demonstrate this. But this is the first of its kind in that there's actually 2 NFC chips that are embedded onto this with like a Faraday barrier in between it. So if you take your phone and you go like this, it'll pop up on your phone and you could just hit the button, and on side A it takes you right to our YouTube channel and immediately takes you just like this, 1, 2, and you're on the video and it's playing for the Genesis issue number 1. In terms of side B, which is this side right here, then if you were to do that, you would go like this and click it, and it goes to our website, bitcoinvideomagazine.com, and at the landing page, right when it pulls up, then issue number 2 is featured right there. So I thought that was a very cool thing, and
totally.
I had a really fun nerdy friend that wanted to work with me on it, and I'm all, dude, if you could do this, then you're like the king. And so he's like, I think I can. I think I can. And so he was able to pull it off, and it looks great. And this has like what the chapters are there, etc. So I was super stoked about that. And then in addition to that, I printed 50 of them, and if I saw you in Vegas and we had like a conversation and it wasn't just a fleeting thing where it's like, hey, I wanted to give you this, then if we actually had a conversation and you spent the time, then I would number that number out of 50. And I had a little chit that I was writing down, what numbers are which and this and that. And out of the 50, I think I got up to maybe 30 of 50 or 20 something of 50. So only some of them are numbered, and then I just signed. I mean, I guess you got to kind of sign it or something, right?
Sure, yeah, right on.
Not like I'm special or whatever, but
yeah. Well, hey, this is it'll be in a museum someday, the Bitcoin Museum.
I did give one. I gave number 21 to the Bitcoin Museum, and I gave number 20, or maybe it was vice versa. I gave number 20 or number 21 to the Bitcoin Museum, and one to Scarce City. Just, I don't know, probably they'll just put him in a corner and unlock him in a couple years, I'm guessing. And if we're still around, then maybe they'll be worth something,
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so that was cool. And then there is an extra tech layer onto that as well. And what that is that using a layer 2 on Bitcoin, because we don't want to pollute the L1, right? And but on the Liquid network, you can email me a photo of that, of the back of it that you would have had, that would have a number 1 of 50 or whatever there. And if you send me a photo of that, I'll send you a certificate of authentication on the Liquid blockchain. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So if you got one of those rare, one of the rare stamps of that, you're in a special club. And
Pretty much.
when you so when you first showed it to me, I'm like, oh, like vinyl. Oh, that's cool. Like, how did you make this? And then you showed me the NFC stuff.
Right.
And it's innovative. It's totally creative. The thought and effort that would have gone into that, in addition to just making the magazine issue itself, it's a lot of work. And also just, it's stuff that's like I've heard of, I'm aware of it, but then it's being done, and it's just pushing the envelope on what you can do with this stuff that, as much as I try to pay attention, it's like, oh, it blows my mind that, yeah, we can do this. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking that some people wouldn't want that, because technically, if you have really good OPSEC, you very much want to trust what kind of NFCs you're scanning.
Right.
But I think that I've been in the space long enough that people know that I'm not going to burn my reputation in doing something stupid.
You can trust Tim. Yeah. Well, and also, use your
don't trust, verify.
Yeah, don't trust, but use your doxed phone when you scan it with NFCs and whatnot. So.
yeah, totally.
So I love it. Overall, I couldn't take in a lot of the talks, and I networked as much as I could. I got out and about and made my rounds throughout the day here and there. Overall takeaway experience. Of course, kind of like last year in Vegas, and Vegas is fiat, of course, but and the suits are out. Last year I noticed, the suits are here, corps are here. I figure it is what it is. It's a given, but they had a good space for the art. And they kept the bazaar. I'd heard things about the bazaar, but they had a bazaar, they had the art. There's despite, and I'm not against the corporate angle of it. I just know it is what it is. But there's still a good vibe to it. There were still plenty of good based Bitcoiners that I met through and through, all over. Everybody I was talking to, good folks all around. What's your impression of the whole deal?
Yeah, I thought so too. In fact, I had gone last year, and the community aspect and the kind of the almost togetherness vibe I felt really, really strong this year. It was really great. So I very much enjoyed that. I only saw one panel, which was Stacy from Bitcoin Army with Robin Sear, and oh gosh, I'm skipping. Yes, thank you. And Paula. Yeah, and that was about everybody should start a podcast. And really, it's true, because we're all such different characters, and I have a lot of respect for that. I had been wanting to start a podcast for like a long time, and I'm like, it does require so much work and commitment and frequency. You got to do it, consistently, very, very, very consistently, and over a long duration of time. And these were kind of some of the things that were going through my mind last summer when I came up with kind of this concept. And it came from something that I did before. I worked in the Surf Skate Snow TV and video space years ago, and the way that the editing slaps with the tricks as a 360 flip is landed, or someone's coming off a rail and then there's like the melody like soars or whatever. I took a lot. I didn't realize it, but a lot of that was just like with me, and I started envisioning this, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of podcasts out there. What if we do Bitcoin stories and we focus back on the plebs, and we cover the entire Bitcoin space in every issue? And if we can compress that into an hour, and the sections are typically about 4 to 6 minutes long, with maybe some 1 to 3 minute, fillers on either side of those chapters, then wouldn't that be compelling? Wouldn't that be kind of like a Bitcoin TikTok for adults or something? So that's kind of where that concept came from. And so you were saying earlier how, yes, there's probably 200 hours of editing that goes into one hour show, Bitcoin video magazine. But I look at you and say, dude, you're doing this every single week. You're coming on, you're putting your time together, you're gathering guests, you're doing these things. We're doing the same thing. We're just packaging them differently. You know what I mean? And so I have to give a lot of respect to yourself and to podcasters that are out there doing things and making things happen. And we're just packaging it a different way and tweaking the colors and the sounds and the layers and and try to have fun with it and try to entertain people, bring back the cypherpunk rock to Bitcoin and start a revolution again as TradFi moves in, which is natural with the scaling. We gotta be reminded of our roots, and when newbies come in, the sooner that they can realize that it's not just about number go up, that there's so many other important facets to Bitcoin and why it's here and why it came about in our lifetimes right now in this world, that I think that that's really why, that's what compels me to do this, and why it's so exciting.
It's awesome. Yeah. And I appreciate that. See, if I could, and if I could conjure the time and I had the skill set to do like what you're doing, you've come up with a novel idea about it where, there's the clips and the shorts and the things that people do. Then there's the podcasting thing where people, are good at talking themselves or have content they've curated themselves and they give a little, a talk and have guests on and have community. The concept of a magazine, people like magazine, like thinking like something on paper. A magazine is representative of a collection of things. So when you hear magazine, my arsenal of firearms have magazines that hold rounds in them. That's the magazine. A magazine is many pages of much content. Video magazine being a magazine of videos and content. And so you're onto something new and novel. It's different. I don't know that there's anything else like it anywhere that I'm aware of. So Bitcoin Video Magazine, it's innovative and creative and has so much, but you can put whatever the hell you want in there. All kinds of, always be different. Lots of little stuff in one issue.
Yep.
If I could muster the time and energy and was smart enough, what I can do basically, so I have a guest on, we talk for anywhere from, an hour to, 2 or whatever. And leading up to that and then wrapping up after that, there's time on the side. I've got a fiat job. So you get busy or your mood's up and down or you're hard on yourself. You get it done, but then you can always see, oh, I could improve this. I should do that. Oh, I don't have the time, but you push yourself and you produce. And that's what's important is that you're going out and doing things. You're just doing it. You have the courage to put yourself out there. And, if you get critics, well, fuck them.
Critics are good though. Critics make us better. If we didn't have critics, then this episode would have sucked a little bit. And I think it's a lot better right now. I think that what we put out this Friday is a lot better than what we had 2 weeks ago. So I'm happy for it. Yeah,
they can hold your feet to the fire or make you think like, oh yeah, okay. So feedback's good. But yeah, no, I love what you're doing that way. And what I can muster is basically Like the podcasters that were on that session that you saw, Robin, Stacy, Paula,
Yep.
they have really leaned in and done it very well, maintained good quality, and they have some production involved, whereas I don't. I have my little intro and my little outro. They've learned how to do it really well with a little bit of more production and editing that they put into it. I haven't got there, but you know what I can do within my means is click and record. So here
Yeah,
we are.
totally. And that's doing something. That's taking a step. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
and sharing, and that's what it's all about. So I think that's awesome. And I have it a lot easier than you do. Okay, it might be more tedious, but I only have to think about 4 to 5 to 6, maybe 7 minutes of a thing that I have to present.
Mhm.
And one of the things that was actually great about redoing and re-releasing issue number 2 is that after these are done, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
and
I need a
so
vacation.
I'm like, I didn't touch it for like a little bit, but I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the experience. I was running it through my mind, and so when I said to myself, okay, we need to, and I talked to my team, and we need to, compress some things. We need to make things move a little quicker. This is something that if you go in, most people want to be hooked in 10 to 15 seconds, and that's not what this does necessarily. It's a slow burn, but once you're there, I think you're like, you're driving on the tops down, and you feel the wind in your hair, and you're like grooving. That's what I
Yeah.
think. But you have to start from a parked position in some cases. And I think that the 2 intros that we did with issue number 1 and issue 1-2 are actual introductions to us and to this project in a bigger way. And so I think it was worth doing that, even if perhaps if we had, done something differently, maybe our numbers would be higher now or something like that. I think it's a good foundation to
Uh-huh.
start with that before going into the rest of this. My point being, though, is that when I did watch it after cutting it and then putting the sections back together and then stitching everything together, I'm like, oh, that could really use a little, a logo or a piece of news like the Tim Nehmeyer in Chicago piece. I'm like, oh, we can find Bill AB 1070 or whatever it was, and so I found that. I put it up, and so now it's like clip AB 1070, whatever number that bill was, and you can pause. And what's interesting about this is, like a magazine, when you see things you like, you might study them or this, that, or the other. And I'm hoping that people would be like, oh, I really want to read that bill, and not even have to go to the internet because it's right there on the, on the video itself. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, there was some really cool stuff that I was able to add without a lot of effort. Just having a second go around after a little bit of time away from it, several days, not like this.
What I like about what it can do is that, like when I got into Bitcoin, I got into it for kind of, and maybe other Bitcoiners that were earlier or early, you get into it for kind of maybe nerdy or money interest or political reasons. Like I had the kind of mindset where I was taking it kind of seriously. It'd be like reading nonfiction books about stuff versus the fiction when it's connecting with culture. And like what you said, what I hope is that, okay, even as normies or more trad moves in, what you hope is that they start to connect and vibe with the culture and the community and the cypherpunk mentality, and it starts to percolate. Maybe they're not getting it from other friends or mentors or what they see day to day, but if they connect with something like what you're doing, they start to have a finger on the pulse. You've got a finger on the pulse of kind of what's going on, what's the vibe. It's art, culture, community, attitude, punk. And that can resonate with people where they're like, oh, this can be cool. This isn't just, oh, I'm going to learn like the tech or the finance or the number go up games or the speculative things, or, investing, saving, blah, blah, all the practical things, whatever. It's
right.
a
It's like
spirit,
Sesame Street.
the spirit of it. Yeah. Or just have fun. And what I've realized when I talk to a lot of people about it is that Bitcoin may resonate with them. Like, they're not approaching it in a rational, practical sense entirely. Sometimes it's the vibe. They're going on the vibe. That's why, you get attracted by shit coins, because shit coins feed or market a vibe or a story or whatever. And so there's an energy to it or something. And so people like that. Bitcoin's got it. And so people can connect with it in Bitcoin, and you're promoting the vibe, and then it'll attract more people or keep them and push them along the rabbit trail, and also learn or see something they'd never heard of before and go, oh, what's that? I'm going to look that up, or learn more about that, or that's new. And you're showing it, sharing it, and getting it out there. So instead of people hearing about it elsewhere and then going and finding that deliberately, through Bitcoin Magazine, they can get a feed of a whole bunch of the stuff lately and find it like a magazine. So I love it.
Yep. Awesome. I appreciate that. I was
Go
thinking
ahead.
about that, and what you had asked earlier, and how we had talked about how important podcasts are and things like that, and how I had at one point kind of gotten into podcast, or had wanted to do podcasts. While I was thinking about that, I'm like, well, if I do it, it has to be like, like Pee-wee's Playhouse or something. And
you can't stop watching. You're just like, what?
Yeah. And so I'm like, and like, I would participate in different educational events, particularly in the early years, like in Africa over Skype. And I would want to like demonstrate a blockchain by like stacking bricks and then putting bills and coins in between them and stuff that you can like visually see. And so that's why I said the Pee-wee's Playhouse or whatever. But I think that kind of was probably an influence leading me up to this, this project as well. And I'm just stoked to have a really good team that's encouraging, that gives strong feedback, that says, bro, you're being an idiot right now. Double think what you're about to do, because sometimes I may think I'm funny, or that I have the best intentions. In fact, when you posted this, you said what happens in Vegas that didn't stay in Vegas.
Right.
There was an incident on. We had a Bitcoin barbecue with the Bitcoin Army, and after the show on
The after
on
party
the last
that I
day.
missed, I had not to interrupt. I had intentions of going there. I wanted to go, and it took us a while to demobilize and put things away. And after a day like that, at least for me, I'm just smoked.
Yeah.
Anyway, but go ahead. Yeah, I missed your party, but you had a party.
No. So there was maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30 people that showed up. So it was great turnout. And I had wanted to show the video at the pool, because that's where the barbecue pit was. And so Angelica, my better half, is like, you better at least ask, the office. We have a timeshare that just so happens to be right there. And I'm like, all right, fine. And the long and short of it was, you can't do that, because we would have to review it. And then there's this, that, and the other. And I brought a projector. I just wanted to hang a sheet over the gate by the pool and just be like, okay, cool. I got, 160 feet of extension cord. I could do this, And so they straight knocked that down, but they gave me a big room, a big conference room that was, kind of way back. And we went there and we played it, and everyone went over there, and but this is like the before after party is is literally what the party was labeled. And people were now starting, because everyone had eaten, and I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go watch this. And it just dragged, and I was like, and I'm sitting there and I'm just being humbled, and people are like, yeah, okay, we'll see you, bro. Thanks for everything. And because people want to go to the next party, they want to do this sort of thing, but at the same time, this got to be banging, and so
Yeah.
After that, there was a dude, I think his name was Jesse from Maryland, who's a redhead guy, super awesome, man, just such a cool kid. And I think as he stuck around, and there was maybe like two other people that stuck around, and in addition to TK, which was who was staying with us there, and then my co-producer Joe, and of course my girlfriend. And so before we had started moseying back to the house, TK had brought like a pretty good sized bottle of Jägermeister, and I don't drink Jägermeister, or at least I shouldn't, I suppose. And but I was like, whatever. And so I tossed back a couple of Jaeger shots in addition to the beers that I had. And when we had got back to the place, this kid, I think Jesse, I think is his name, and so we're talking, we're shucking and jiving, and like, bro, if you have any friends that are, I'm sure some friends are, I don't know if it's, I thought I was acting cool and appropriate and having fun and joking around and stuff like that with Joe and this guy, and like broing out with him and stuff.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend, like after she left, he's all, Tim, that guy probably thinks you're such a dick. And I'm like, what? No. No, I'm like
you were too
what do you mean? Like, yeah, I think so. And so I totally felt bad about that. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And because he's all, oh yeah, I might be able to contribute. And I think I was like, no, you're gonna contribute, man. You're part of one of us, but I was probably jumping around and excited and just like spaz. And he's like, bro, this guy doesn't know you. You can't just like come across totally as yourself to someone who just met you, and you're like, and they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it right away, So I don't know. I don't know what happened in terms of whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. I thought it was cool, but my perception of it was different than my girlfriend's, and maybe or maybe not different than Jesse's. I don't know. So if Jesse, if you're watching this, bro, I love you. I really appreciate you, and thought you were so super cool. And if I was being a spaz and weird, it's because I'm a spaz and weird, and I hope I didn't make you feel uncomfortable, bro.
Yeah. And we all can find ourselves doing that or whatever. I'll do that where I'm all excited or whatever. And whether it's my wife or a friend, and just, I think it was Stacy's birthday.
Yes.
I believe
it was Stacy and B cousins,
and Bitcoin cousin had a birthday either that day or right near there.
Right.
So and then some of the other Bitcoin Army folks were there, Jeeves and George and oh gosh, I don't know. I think maybe Elizabeth or whoever else, but there were quite a few. And so, yeah, I know, but you put a lot of effort into, making it, hey, got some food and stuff going on, a space, and you're going to have a show, but balancing a group or a crowd of any kind, you never know how the energy can flow or what people, why they show up or why they stay.
And it's Vegas. It's Vegas. Every man out for themselves. Every person out for themselves. Like there's nothing I could take personal from that, other than I'm so happy that everybody did come together for the barbecue and stuff like that. And like there was 30 people, and we all had fun and got to hang out and have a great time. And that was awesome. It was very cool to meet a lot of these people that you see and at the show, online, but you've never met in person. And that is really cool to, experience.
Yeah. It's so fun to have that face-to-face networking experience where you interact so often in these, in the Bitcoin community elsewhere. Just so much of it is online, or even like video. You've seen or talked to people face-to-face, and you really kind of know them, or you feel like you really know them. But like in Vegas, and when suddenly it's like, oh yeah, it's a weird feeling when the stars connect again, and you're like, them, but you realize you've never actually met them in reality.
Yeah.
And so it's a cathartic experience. So then there's all this energy. And then people are, after a long day, or people got, I think I missed like a few events that I wanted to try to make, or that I even registered and was invited to. And it's like, oh, I got to try to make that. And then putting it all together, it's just, it's Vegas. You catch what you can, and there's just so
Yeah.
much going on, and so you're making your way through and around and back and forth, and anyway. But it sounded like a good fun event, a nice production, recognition of the folks that could make it, as well as showing off the Bitcoin episode. And so, yeah, it's easy to read into or look into hard, and then balancing awareness with critique, and also, hey, we're all just having fun too. So
Yep. So I could have been on the floors there probably for another 3 or 4 days if my feet actually wouldn't have given out by then. But like I only really accomplished about a third of what I had like set in my mind to accomplish, despite not seeing any. I didn't plan on seeing any of the stage shows anyways. I was just trying to run into certain people and things like that, and I missed a lot of people, but I definitely did, see a lot of people, and I would have loved if I felt like I didn't meet enough people, although that's the only thing I was really doing while I was at the show.
Yeah.
So it's a trip, man. It's like I definitely went in a different kind of mission and mindset this year than I was last year, because last year I also didn't really see. I probably saw 7 of the stages, but the networking felt so much smoother, and I had like, and I'm not the kind of person that gets like anxiety, but I kind of had like a little bit of anxiety because I'm like, I'm not accomplishing enough. I'm not meeting enough people face to face and introducing myself, and asking them to be a part of this or consider this for a couple issues ahead, and I think that the whole thing is just demonstrating a proof of work. And once that proof of work is out, we've done it with issue number 1. We followed it up with issue number 2. And I think that those two together are now like, okay, we can do this, and we will do this, and we will continue doing this. So, hop aboard.
Yeah. And art and craft is like that. Every project that you put out there is its own process, and then the arc of all the projects over time is a process, and you learn as you go. And there's no, if you have too many hard goals and expectations, destinations that you got to meet, you can feel bad, like I'm not doing enough, or I can't. It's not just the way I thought it would be. It ends up being its own beast, and so it is what it is. But you're doing it. So, and that's what's important. You do it, and as it resonates and registers, and over time, and you keep showing up, or you keep doing it, you keep producing, it's a gestalt. It becomes more than just the sum of its individual parts. And then in hindsight, you're like, damn, like that's been an amazing ride, and the momentum starts to build. And so what'll be exciting to see is as you continue this, or make more these issues come out, or I mean, heck, if they're coming out more often, or they're you hone in your process where they're or shorter or clippier, or whatever it is. It's just going to start to really stick and become a thing that people look forward to. The next issue, the next episode. Gen X is on. He says Bitcoin Video Magazine is organic and genuine, very much needed. I agree. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Like I said, you've got your finger on the pulse of the culture and the energy of the spirit behind it, which is sorely needed. Because sort of like when I was like the presentation done with the podcasters, and where they're like, make a podcast. When I was first contemplating these ideas, a couple of years ago or so, I'm looking at the space thinking, well, there's already podcasts. And I watch the podcast, and I'm like, these people are smart. These people are connected. These people have all day, every day, I think, to do this. I have a job. I have a family. I'm not that smart. I have ideas. I have opinions, and I'll be talking with people going, man, I should share this. Not to get like, like that it's about me. At the same time, you want to connect and share. But I had this hesitancy of doing that because you're comparing yourself to other people or what's out there already. What am I adding? Well, you know what Bitcoin needs is I mean, there's plenty of TradFi, astrology for men, fiat thinking, number go up, corporate things going on. And it's like, I will listen and I'll learn, but what people really like is the spirit, or the cypherpunk, the attitude, the why. Why are we doing this? Is it is it number go up really? Or is it, Satoshi Nakamoto's vision and
self-sovereignty and freedom, and there's so it's just, it levels the playing field. Bitcoin levels the playing field, and I just want to shout it from the mountaintops.
I feel that too. I have to I don't know if you relate to this. So like having a normie job or normie friends, normie family and all that, not judging it, just that's the world, fiat clown world. And so on my own, or maybe I can dose it with my wife and certain close circle friends, Bitcoiners, sure. But I'll have all these thoughts and things I'm learning where, like, in the course of a day or after a session of something, I'll just be like pumped and like, oh, I want to get out there and I want to do stuff, or I want to share this. And I've learned to temper myself, because when I step foot out into clown world, or I'm at work and I might start and then I have to check myself and be cool, because people will be like, dude, they don't get it.
Yeah.
But so you got to do something cathartic, so this is an outlet.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. It's again, as tedious it is, it's a lot of fun, and I definitely make myself laugh a lot, and it makes me think deeper about things, because when you're, Andreas Antonopoulos used to say that you really don't understand something until you can teach it. Is that what he said? Maybe I didn't listen to him long enough. But you have to be, if you can't explain it well to someone else, then you yourself don't understand it. And right. Bitcoin itself, it took a long time to where you could, where I could even explain it to people in simple terms that didn't make me sound like a bark a Star Trek guy, and and that is, the power to communicate and convey messages, and light off little paradigm shifts in people's heads, where they start to grasp little pieces of it, and then there's like a puzzle that a bunch of these little pieces have come together here, and these have come together here, and you're like now just starting to put the rest of the pieces to connect, and now you're like starting to see the frame, and you know what I mean? If you do it a certain way, I think that it's about reading people and everything else. So it's I guess an art.
Yeah, it is an art. See, I'll be thinking, I'll have all these Bitcoin thoughts in my mind and how it connects and should relate to people generally. Like, hello, people, like, wake up. And I'll be thinking about it like way up here, like, where's all this going and what do we see coming, and that this is important for these big reasons. And then, so then when I start to talk to somebody, or somebody actually shows some interest or has questions and they're honestly interested, I have to remind myself, like, where is it? What do they need to learn about? What do they need to hear? Because I'll get excited and I'll start going off about the big stuff. Yeah. And then they can be like, whoa, like they're not there yet. Or, like I think I'm teaching them, but I'm doing the university thing for, the coloring class right now. So, like, I gotta, not to dumb it down, but to relate it, translate it. Like, where are they at? And
right, where are their pain points? Right.
Yeah. Like, sort of like why would they need Bitcoin? It's like, well, what's fiat doing for you? What is the, how is the dollar good for you? Like, they're thinking in terms of dollar and fiat and whatever, and then they're thinking, well, Bitcoin. They're thinking, well, dollar go up. It's like, tell me about, more than the number go up, what is the dollar? What is the dollar doing? How's that helping you? Juxtaposed to, now the Bitcoin rabbit hole is as deep as you want to go, But instead of like diving down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, it can be translating their fiat mind into just a little bit to start, and then a little more, and then maybe a little more, and then it takes time. So I have to remind myself of that, because I get so, like you do, I get so excited, and somebody will say something, I think they're onto something, and I start to go, and then I'll be like, oh, maybe that was too much.
I'll give you an example of me doing exactly what you're talking about. I was having a conversation. This is a while ago, a couple of years ago, but it's something I've brought forth into the now when I talk to people. And I was talking to this couple, and talking about Bitcoin, and they would start to get something, and I would get excited, like you said, and all of a sudden I'll boom, boom, and boom, and la la la. And I mean, we probably talked, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And at the end, they're like, hey, we got to go. This girl, the girl is like, we got to go. Everything you said was like so impactful to me. And I thought that it was so rad, but I'm only going to remember like 2 things you said.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Like, I'll remember like 5% of it or something. Not even 5% she's like, it was funny. I was just like, okay.
Yeah,
So
if a person's going to remember 1 or 2 things, like, what does that need to be?
Right.
But yeah, no, we're just humans, I guess. So we're all doing our best. So we have to give ourselves and others grace, and we have to stay humble about it at times, and then allow ourselves to get excited, and then kind of, put that in our Bitcoin box. And then, at least for me, it's like, well, I got to go back to work and do the fiat salt mining stuff, and not let that get to me. That's another thing too about it, is that before Bitcoin, this is another thing. I don't know if you relate to this, but I have to manage it in my mental health, because things that I used to just, when there was no like escape hatch or solution, you saw that there were problems, but what are you going to do about it? So you just kind of hunkered down, find, you have your hobbies, or you immerse yourself in other things, or you get really, maybe just find your way in your job. Well, I can like work hard, promote, chase that dollar. And so it's just kind of the rat race, but you can do your best in that. And when I started to find Bitcoin, and it really started to percolate, and then I started to lean in, or, put more time and energy into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There was a broader juxtaposition, like a dichotomy between the potential and dream of Bitcoin and all the energy, versus then going back to work. It was like this divide of pulling myself back into fiat land and seeing it in a different frame, and going, oh, like, I used to just tolerate this easy, and now it's hitting me different. It's like, oh, can I get out of this? And for good and bad. So it's incentivized me to not be stuck, and to work hard towards directions that I find the future in.
Yep.
And yet, when I go back to daytime fiat work, I have to really harness myself and be like, okay, get over it. You're okay. Like, this job was fine years ago. Like, what's with the hate,
Yeah.
I'm feeling it more lately, because I want the fuck out. I mean, I shouldn't say that out loud, but I don't want to be stuck. So, because it's not like, so a lot of Bitcoiners out there, it's not like, oh yeah, I work in Bitcoin, it's all Bitcoin, I'm living my dream, dare to dream. I don't have that. I've got to work. I got to work hard for regular cuck bucks, and then I'm gonna get taxed and blah blah blah, and play that game until someday the dream, yes, is to escape, but I'm not there yet. So meanwhile, here we go.
And a lot of us are in that same position. I mean, it's funny, because I've been in Bitcoin since 2013, and a lot of people have this idea that, oh, anyone that's been in for that long is just, they're retired, or this, that, or the other. And the difference is I've always struggled to, like, have more than a month's, worth of savings in the bank or whatever, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I worked even in mortgage and stuff like that. But my point being is that I was never like just a total baller. And, some of these guys that may have heard about Bitcoin in 2012, 13, 14, 15 are like, oh, just throw 10,000 in there, whatever. And then they just didn't think about it. Whereas I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to buy like, $200 worth of Bitcoin. And then maybe next month I'll buy another 100. And, and then there's all kinds of coffee shops, and there was like ice cream places and taco shops down in San Diego that accepted Bitcoin. And, coming from like a libertarian standpoint, like the Ron Paul movement and stuff like this, when Bitcoin wasn't even worth $1,000, it's like, this is going to take 30 years to adopt. It's so cool, but the governments are going to not want this, and so this is going to have to be very underground for a long time, and then it's going to come up. And it was funny because there was a few people, Hal Finney being the first, that really foresaw where this could go,
right,
as one of the earliest people who really foresaw this could go, aside from Satoshi themselves. Andreas, obviously, and even Roger Ver was back in 2014 or something like this, was saying at some point Bitcoin is going to outpace the market capitalization of silver, and here's how it's going to happen. And he laid down step by step by step. And this is over 10 years ago that he literally just laid it out. And I'm like, geez, like, I wish I would listen to my own medicine, but I'm like, okay, let me give people some Bitcoin. And, 9 out of 10 people you give Bitcoin lose it, and don't respect it, trade it up for, something. I question whether that was the way to go or no. I mean, it's been a journey, and it's been an exciting journey, actually, or at least not an uneventful one, I should say.
You've got
along the way.
Yeah, you've got a lot of stories. You've told them on Spaces. You told it on the first podcast we had together. And we can talk about more if you want. We all feel, it's funny because I would say, because I've been being a kook about Bitcoin for what, well, gosh, I guess it's been 6.5 years now, which seems like a long time now. I've had to reevaluate when I talk about the juxtaposition, the dichotomy in my Bitcoin mentality, and then like fiat day work job. I have to go back to like time preference. It's like, okay, settle down, son. Remember your time preference. You get all excited, but you just keep being the day-to-day, not a hero. Just be, just put in the good proof of work. And so I felt like I could have been earlier. I was late. I see those videos of
I don't think anyone's late, but go ahead.
Yeah, right. You were all early. So even people coming in saying, well, I'm late. I like, oh, it's expensive, or, oh, it's already gone up. Dude, I'll say like it's less than $1 million.
Right.
You got time, and what's your time preference? Is it like this year you got to hit it rich, or you got 5? Do you have 5 years? You got 10 years? You'll be fine. Stay humble, stack sats. We're all early. Antonopoulos speaking to like an empty room, or Hal Finney writing stuff that he was writing about. Max Kaiser out there burning dollars and just being crazy. And so way back when in the aughts or whatever, when Kaiser was out there ranting and raving, now he could see the financial criminality of it all early. He was in there. So he and Stacy were just going. And at the time it was like, this guy's nuts. But in hindsight, it's like, wow. And so people will, like you said, people sometimes, like in my realm of mainstream work, what I do, because I've been mentioning or talking about Bitcoin here and there for years, I guess, they look at me as like either kind of eccentric, or maybe a kook, or maybe a risk taker, or maybe nuts, or maybe a genius. And it's like, no, it's It's
just
just
a
being
pleb.
an aware human on this planet who
Yep.
cares about something. I mean, the future, our kids, generational, anything, and seeing the system for what it is. So I'm just doing what is, I'd say, maybe ethical and not afraid. I mean, it takes a little courage maybe, but just dare to be different and talking about it. And so people will say, oh, you must be like, you're early, you must have whatever, so much, or they presume these things about it. Like, oh, you've been in Bitcoin for so long. Oh my gosh, how much
Right.
Bitcoin do you have? It's like,
Right.
I'm not special. I just been grinding. So,
Right.
and that's okay. And you will be too. You as well can do the same and not feel special. But after a few years, people are like, oh, you've been in Bitcoins. You got into Bitcoin before 100K.
Right.
Wow. And
Right.
anyway, so
People think that this is the dollar line and that the Bitcoin coin line is this, but goes like this, but it's kind of like that or whatever, right? But they got to realize that the dollar line isn't this, it's this.
right.
And you don't want to ride this line because this line is actually this line. And the Bitcoin line is going to be this line, but just a little bit of a roller coastery ride.
Right.
And I think once you see that and you realize that, hey, the government is going to devalue and dilute the money system every single year by 5% or so. When you realize what that means, it's different than our parents. For the younger kids, it's like very different, So it's the world turns, and there's a new perspective that we're lucky to have Bitcoin in order to really just be able to take in that perspective.
Yep.
And see what it's about.
As we approach 40 trillion in debt, and the money printers are going to get hot again, and the hijinks to stay relevant by sovereigns and governments are just going to get more and more ridiculous. Here's something, not to get political, here's something that just sort of hit me earlier. Was it Tuesday night, I guess? So, so like you mentioned Ron Paul.
Yeah.
So Thomas Massey represented a lot to me about, hey, he's unique, he's different. At least he's saying that. I wish there was more of that. And yet at least he's a guy who's there and doing all that.
He had like a 99% score on like constitutionality. I saw that, and I mean, I've been a fan. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So my legacy fiat habit in my mentality, like what I learned in school, is like, your civic duty to understand the system, get out there and vote and participate and vote harder. And I was quite disenfranchised and just disaffected by the system generally, about the voting games, the voting itself, the candidates we have at all, the issues they're talking about, all the bullshit. And I was just feeling so done. And so for me, Thomas Massey represented kind of a bastion of hope of like Ron Paul. Like we've got a guy, we've got maybe a few people, and they can just start to wake people up, keep that message out there, whatever. So then when you see him get just basically attacked by whatever, I won't put a name on it.
Yeah, that sucked.
So the money rolls in, the lobbying goes in, they, put up a guy that, they polish up, and to lose because we're a herd animal is what I conclude. Humans are largely, our ego will tell us we have so much free will and we make decisions so intelligently. And yet I think we're like a herd animal.
Yep.
And you can see it in the politics, the way they treat us, the way they talk down to us or tell us and mansplain it or whatever it is.
Right.
Nanny state all about it. And then the money goes in, and apparently people just vote. If you believe the voting, I don't know. But when Massey went down, now I know he's still in office for a little while, but for him to lose, I was like, yeah, I guess here's where I'm going with it, is that I was kind of feeling done, like not voting. I'm not advice, not political advice here, but for me, I was like, you know what? My habit would to think, oh, get out there and push, vote harder, fight. I was like, you know what? I'm done voting. I think I'm done. And so at first I felt like a little guilt over not participating or not doing my duty. But then when I kind of flipped that switch and kind of sat back and was like, you know what, I'm done, there was kind of this relief of like, it'd be like watching a TV, like a news channel, and like your feed is just complete fiat toxic garbage. And it's like, why am I watching this? So then you turn it off, you tune out and drop out and walk away and focus your time and energy on Bitcoin. It was this relief of like, I can just call bullshit and be like, and so people are like, oh, did you hear this or that and the other? I'm like, no, it's all bullshit. Anyway, I was feeling better after I was deciding to be a rebel.
Yeah, no, that makes sense in a lot of ways. I lean towards that there's a fair possibility that your vote might count. That's definitely not a guarantee. But on the other side, and does your vote jeopardize your OPSEC also, right? So the way you vote is also who you are and can of course be used against you in certain ways. So do you want to be that public or not? So that's just another thing that you could look at too. Or is it just step out of the river of trash and just breathe air, freedom, and feel grass, right? So I can respect that. I could definitely respect that. Sometimes there's been times that there might just be a single one or two initiatives or this, that, or the other that I might vote on because I feel strongly about them, or that I've studied them, or I think that they're the most important things. And so I understand each of those perspectives. And if you're opting out, then maybe you are freeing your mind to be more at peace, because stepping into that is kind of stepping into the firing line to some extent, and putting yourself in this mix of that's wrong, that's right, why would you vote this, why would you vote that, free, protect the children, right? So,
the Protect the Children Act, whatever,
yeah. So I respect whatever individual wants to do whatever they, whyever they do that.
Sweet Biddy says hi.
I miss Sweet Biddy.
Yeah, life has gotten busy, and that's one thing. I was cranking this podcast out really busily for a while there, and I didn't realize too. This was another realization: is that as I really leaned into Bitcoin, being a human, seasons of our lives, spring comes, kids doing stuff, a sport starts or whatever, or something comes up at work, and my balance had to back off a little bit. And at first, it was kind of like, dang it, I can't do enough. I'm not doing enough, or you criticize. And I was like, you know what? No, I've got a life too. I got to have that balance. I know Biddy's been working a lot and gardening and outdoor stuff, and the sun was out shining, the weather's getting nicer. I'm like, you know what? If I take a little more time touching grass every once in a while, I spend enough time, like as you do, like you're in front of the computer working through the winter. For me, it's like I can do that because what else, okay, the sidewalk shoveled the snow, so I can lean in here. But yeah, just life's good though. So we just keep going through the seasons. It just, our rhythm might change a little bit. And there was a relief on the politics for me where when I was just like fed up and not going to let it get to me. Okay, so Massey goes down. I'm just going to move on and put all that time and energy and attention I might have spent there or wondering or worrying about it. I'm just going to put it more in Bitcoin and our positive future and our hope and what I can do for my closer circle. Maybe there's like local politics or a local politician where your vote means a little more differently, you know, and that
Right.
means something. The higher you go up in the system and the game, the more I look at it and just all I can see is deep state. So
Sure. Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, real quick, if I can jump back to something that we talked about for just a moment earlier, when Biddy came up, that remind me. I said that after Vegas, I took like some breathing time, and then I came back and looked at the episode, and that was when on Sweet Biddy McGee's section, I said, you know what? I got to put that logo, the logo you see right there. I got to have that at the intro of it. And I was like, yes. And I was so happy that I did. And I was like, because Biddy freaking rocks. I love her.
Yep. I've loved having her on I've had her on the podcast here a couple times, and it's just fun because, and I think she can relate and whatnot, but I have a bad habit of, because I think that, you know, I find things to be important in life and I care about the future, or, you know, and money. So I'll take myself seriously, or I'll take the world seriously, or I'll take things seriously, and I'll get wrapped up around it. And so then if I'm feeling it, I'm like, okay, whoa, I got to back out a little bit. Biddy brings that refreshing, fun, hey, relax, like,
Yep.
enjoy this life we have here. Go exploring. I likened her to the butterfly in the garden flitting around, because she's all over and everywhere, and then get busy, backed
so
off
awesome.
social media a little bit. But like when I had her on, as much as I might pay attention, she turned me on to some podcasts and ideas and talk where,
Oh, she knows everybody and everything. It's like, how do you store all that stuff, girl?
there's a lot.
Yeah.
And so as I started to explore
Great.
some of that stuff too, it turned me on to some new ideas and things where it's like, you know what? I enjoy that creative exploration of what reality is, why we're here, where we came from, deep history and deep future. It's fascinating to me. And I've like had to learn to relax. You know, I've got the kind of job where I can't cut loose and not be too responsible all the time. You know, is what it is. But it reminds me, Biddy, thank you. You remind me to unwind, relax, don't take myself or the world too seriously. Enjoy it. We only got one life here that our current memory serves.
Yep.
But we're here now. So make it good. And because I've met Bitcoiners that are very serious, or like, you know, not that things aren't important, but they might argue or fight over stuff that they're passionate about. But if that lingers on you too much, it's like, okay, zoom out a little bit. We got way more in common than what we might argue about. So
Totally. Yep.
she
That's
says,
right.
yeah, much appreciated. Ignoring the world's propaganda, spreading the love. Yeah, it's
Yep.
definitely, it's about
Absolutely.
love. Yeah, we're like spiritual beings having a human experience, and so my memory is limited to this life. But I've started to, as I explore, not to get woo-woo here. I mean, maybe you want to talk about it, but I've started to really ponder the things like, things along a little more paranormal or metaphysical, or just kind of is what I practically cognitively think really all there is. I don't think so. There's a lot more going on. Here's what's surreal. So like the government is releasing these, what they call tranches of UFO files. And part of me is like, what the, I can't, I mean, if this had happened 10 years ago, I'd be going like, what?
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay. And now you're seeing on like, okay, Fox News or other mainstream sound bites of, there's like 4 types of aliens. We got the grays and the insectoids and the mantids and the Nordics and the reptilians. And you're like, this is on Fox News? What the hell?
Yeah, this is great.
Anyway, but that's, you know, Bitcoiners are open-minded that way. And that's what I've learned a lot from others. That my mind is not so open that I get tripped up, but it keeps me fresh. So I'm always learning.
Absolutely. There's Andreas used to talk about a symbol. In fact, I made a button of the symbol. I don't know what the symbol's called, but it's the Japanese don't have a word for expert. They have a word for continual learner, so I have that that I printed onto a little button in kanji. It's a continual learner instead of expert.
Yeah.
Because no such word exists in Japanese.
Yeah, and that's what I try to. I that's my nature, but that's what I enjoy in life. I'm always learning, and what I think is like, I guess I'm a truth seeker, but what I think is real or the truth or whatever, I realize I have my own little Overton window about it, and what's potentially out there is, a stretch, or not to have a faith or belief in too much, but to be open to learning, and then you just never know what that might be. Bring
Yeah, we have
facts is on.
bring facts in El Salvador.
Yep.
Walking the streets right now at night. Did you find your horchata, buddy?
Yeah, he got a tattoo from Brandon or it's maybe he's still working on it, but was a day or two ago he had the outline.
Yep.
So
And that was Gen X BTC who without rulers who had designed that as well. And that's one of our team members. That's our guy.
Oh, cool, Brandon, awesome. Or no, Gen X.
Yeah, Gen X is he's been working on our website, putting together some handshakes for us and introductions, and he's just awesome. Yeah, we live not too far from each other, and it's see each other once in a while and go to meetups sometimes.
I love that tattoo design he got, the octopus and the honey badger biting into the creature from Jekyll Island that has the skulls of our human freedoms. And I love that design, the tattoo. It's huge. It must have been hurting because the outline's large, and then all the color that's coming. It's got to be like a day-long session, days.
Jeez, yeah,
that's find his horchata. Finished day 2, session 2 a few hours ago. Got drilled on for 12 hours.
Woo!
Wow.
It's not done yet. Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. If you go to Bring Facts feed or mine, and you'll see the concept that Gen X made. It's beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, down in El Salvador, I'm kind of jealous right now because that's where I met him. We were in El Salvador.
That's awesome.
He won the ticket for his bitty titty tattoo from Kaiser, and then I was down there for MicroSeed, and from a distance, when I saw him, I'm like, that dude's different. And then when I met him, I'm like, oh, Bitcoin Army, you're Bring Facts. And it was just a serendipitous, funny meeting. And then I'd love to go back to El Salvador again. So have you been to El Salvador before?
I haven't. I would love to go myself. So maybe, and that's one of the, so right now with the fiat mines, it's not just the airfare, but it's the time off work and all this sort of things. But if I put my mind and heart to this project, as does our team, then this will be opportunities for us to go to cover people and things and places, people and places and things, and lions and tigers and bears. What did Vinny say there?
The tattoo is sick.
Oh yeah,
Gen X BTC.
Yeah, awesome.
If I can find it here real quick, because I gotta throw this on the screen here. Let me real quick, because I loved it.
I'm going to say shout out to Bitcoin Art Magazine, by the way. This thing is
yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but I mean, in person, it's so beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's a little bit oversized, and it's just, the print is just wonderful, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
Asanoa was there with the Bitcoin Art Magazine in Vegas.
Yep.
And love that guy. And he has, like what you're doing for Bitcoin Video Magazine, he's doing that collaboration connection thing for the artists in the artist world. And so you're getting people across the world with all kinds of different stuff, but putting it together in a magazine, and then you know, when you see individual things, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, that's cool. And then when it's all together, it's a gallery in your hands. And it's like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yep.
So here's a piece of art right here.
Yep.
That was Gen X's design. And then Bring Facts had his, let's see, I think this is part of the tattoo that he got. Oh, look at that.
I've seen it since then. He's posted a newer one too. That
did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little bit of the honey badger has been colored in so far, a little bit.
If I go to his feed here, well, there he is. That view. Oh my gosh, I missed that.
Gorgeous.
There's the pupusas. Those are.
Oh, so he did find the pupusas. That's awesome. Good going. Good going.
Pamela. Honey badger. Ooh.
There, yeah. Look at that. Wow.
Ooh, I know how that can sting.
I don't know how that can sting. I don't have any tats.
No tattoos, eh?
Yeah,
I
got some I'm still thinking about 35 years later. Never executed, didn't want to make that commitment, but
damn.
That's a beauty.
Brandon,
that's a beauty.
Brandon is a good artist. So the back is less sensitive. It's probably a nice, more comfortable, less painful place to get it. But once you get around your sides, the sides of your belly or whatnot, that's
is it like the fatty where it's kind of fatty is where it hurts more, or
I don't know what it is or where your nerves are, like where you tickle. Like there are parts of your body. Like
this guy's skinny bone Jones right here, but
yeah, he's kept himself in good shape this past couple of years. He's doing those push-ups. So yeah, like your arms, your back, pretty tolerable, but you get around the sides or the front or elsewhere, it's like the sensitive places where you usually have covered in clothes, they get.
It is just right.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Well, and the pain will ebb and flow. Like it starts to build and you're like, oh, and then whatever kicks in, it fades, and then you're like,
is it a chemical that kicks in here that is like, okay, or is it just that the pain actually fades?
Yeah, tattoo artists certainly know what it is, but it's I don't want to say dopamine. It's a natural painkiller that you're feeling this pain and your body releases a hormone or something, and it eases the sting, and then you kind of feel it and it goes away. And then it'll kind of come back and you'll be like, oh, as it moves, and then it fades. Your body's Anyway, Biddy's most painful tat was on the back of her thighs. Yeah, I can only imagine. That's sensitive.
Wow.
Like places where you're ticklish, or if somebody like grabs you, you're like, ah.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway.
I know that I would stub my, like, I'll kick the, corner of my bed or something like that. And like immediately, like, shooting pain, and then I'll go and then I'll just like and like it'll go away because I'll be like, you stupid or something, and it'll go away, and then like I won't, because I'll direct myself not to think about it, but I mean it's still there, but you're just kind of directing your mind away from it, or so, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like getting a procedure done at the doctor, or if a good tattoo artist or a doctor, like they'll be having a conversation with you and they're talking, and so your mind is talking or thinking, and if your mind is distracted, it's like, oh, are you done? Yo, you're done already? Oh, okay. I wasn't even. But if you're watching it and thinking about it and going, like you're focused on it. So anyway, a good conversation during a tattoo helps.
So, bro, I'm excited. Next issue, we got Mexican Magician. Yeah. That's going to be like chapter 4 for the pleb profile. So I went up to LA. I shot with him a full day. That was outstanding. I think I might have like 1 or 2 more little shots that I want to get, but that's going to be fantastic. And we're gonna bring a lot more. We're gonna do a lot of the same in terms of during the news desk, which is the experimental kind of AI news anchor things, is we're going to bring in real people and be doing a little bit of back and forth interviewing between Desmond Kay and Natasha Nguyen to kind of keep that that fantasy reality, lines blurred. And
Live from the Bitcoin news desk.
yeah, so I'm excited about it. I'm excited that, and again, X is just constantly prints leads, and the more that people hear about us, the more that we're going to be able to execute sooner and quicker. And that, I mean, we're already building out for issues number 4 and 5, and Peony Lane. Ben Justman wants to do something with us, but that's not going to be that's not going to be until September or something like this. So nice. I can't wait. It's just going to get better and better and funner and more interesting, and ultimately we'll be bringing in probably another editor or two eventually when the time calls for it. And that's I'm just hoping that that we get some sponsors that really get behind us. I mean, our sponsors are behind us, but we want to show strong numbers. And anyone that's watching this, if you've seen it, you gotta definitely tell 2 friends and at least 1 stranger.
Yeah, and then it grows exponentially.
Thanks, Biddy.
Created the first Bitcoin MTV, and that was kind of the vibe. But when I saw episode 1, I think I mentioned that. But yeah, that's the vibe I get is back when MTV was MTV, when we were like kids in some of those good old days, and it was that like authentic feel of the
Bitcoin Bazooka has been doing a lot of good stuff, and he's he built the Satoshi's commercial, and of course he did his part there, and he's working on some new stuff for this next issue as well that I'm not going to say anything about yet, but I'm excited because I love his style, and he's a great artist, and I can't wait to see more of his work. And he, myself, and Joe, and now wow, I must have swallowed a frog. He, myself, Joe, and now Sterling are beginning to talk and storyboard through some different ideas that I think are going to be super exciting. And
awesome.
So we should always have the same 8 chapters, which is News Desk, Best of the Beat, which is the podcast highlights, the lifestyle and culture, which could be film, music, art, etc. Then we have the pleb profile, a tech deck or tutorial or kind of an explainer type of thing. Because is doing this next one, is working on the next one for us, which I'm super excited about. It's going to be nice. Byzantine General's problem. And I can't wait for that. That's going to be so awesome. And then we have a mining and energy, and then community, and then conclusion. So that's that. And then the sub chapters, like there's a bunch of different things that might kind of fall into the community side, and there's a clip here and there that might fall into the mining chapter or etc. And so it gives us a lot of leeway. And what we're bringing this next issue is continuing what we started kind of this issue, in that we introduced the Bitcoin glossary, which is the ASMR style Bitcoin glossary, which Biddy was a part of, and Heather as well. Which was super cool. And then we had the Bitcoin Bible Pastor's Corner. I want to make that something that's recurring, just to have like that kind of, got to have the yin and the yang and all sides represented. And now I just got
Pastor Coin.
Yeah, exactly. Alan Armstrong up in Canada. Yeah. And we just got some contributions from a professional comedian named Steve X, who's also a Bitcoiner. And he was out in front of Wells Fargo Bank day before yesterday, literally with a bullhorn that he had just gotten in the mail, saying, what was he saying? Shut all banks, or banks suck, or something like this. And there was actually a dude in the background that's all, God bless you, man. It was great. And then Alex
Jones with the bullhorn.
Yeah. and then he carries into this joke, but so and that's like a 1 minute section, and so just having like a couple, maybe in two different places, having that the Bitcoin comedy, the big then we have the Bitcoin on the streets, of course, which is kind of under the community section. So I think it's going to continue being fun, fast moving, and we definitely want to include viewers as contributors. Everybody has a phone, if you hold it this way, we'll be happy to look at it.
Yeah. When you watch a movie, the screen is horizontal, folks.
Yes.
Because whenever, you can see a documentary where the footage they got is some people do this for, Snapchat or whatever it is. And it don't work on a movie. So horizontal.
We've had to work with that sometimes, and it causes us to be more creative, in the editing and stuff like that. So, but to start with, it's better to start horizontally. Yes, definitely better.
Now, when you now in this current episode, issue 2 here, this intro is so hilarious.
Rockwell Automation's retro encabulate.
Is
now,
this
basically,
AI,
the
or
only new principle
No,
is that
this
instead of power being
is kind of an
generated by
older
relative
1980s,
conductors
just
and
complete
it's
nonsense
produced by the
mumbo
Monier
jumbo.
interaction of magnetic reluctance and capacitive
But
directives.
what I did is I took every
The
single
original
sound in
had a
there and
trace
just
plate of
like tweaked or
pre-cannulated
added
metal
or
surmounted by a
cranked it
malleable
up or
long casing in such a
I
way
added
that the
so many
two
things, even from
bearings
the
run a direct line with a
listen right
panametric
here.
fan.
It's all
The lineup consisted simply of 6.
so it was I just over embellished every single thing that was being in here, and I liked it, and I just thought it was funny. And this represented pre-Bitcoin because I go through the epochs, right? So this is epoch 0, and then he touches this thing, and I'm all ding. It's all ding like a. Anyways.
So was this originally?
My dad. I've had some bad feedback on this, as a matter of fact, and that was that this section is way too long, and you're just going to lose people and stuff like that. And I get it, and that's true. Even so, that is a fair criticism. It's totally a fair criticism. But what we have to do, because this is itself a new and nascent genre, this Bitcoin video magazine, at least within the Bitcoin space, is look. This isn't a doom scroll that you're gonna get hooked onto. It's like just grab some popcorn, pop a soda or whatever, sit back in the armchair, and just enjoy, and you will enjoy it. And
some people approach this stuff like, am I not entertained? They just want to be, they're in a clickbaity mode and just they want to be grabbed and hooked quick.
Yes.
And I guess for the sake of that, if you start this out with quick and short hooks, and then if they stay for just a minute, they're better for something longer. So
there's so much history just in Bree right here, though. Bree during the 2020 era was like, she was the thing, man. Even Sailor would talk about her, and like, because she was making these things. Sailor's a Bitcoin bull, and I forgot who it was that Scott Melkin, I think, interviewed Sailor back in 2020. He's also, what do you think of this Bree Fit dance thing? And Sailor's like, oh man, he's all, you know what? Bitcoiners are awesome. And when you put your mind to something, you can just make it happen. And they're the best marketers out in the whole world. Because this video has like, I don't know how many views or whatever, but she was just awesome. She was just a Bitcoin pleb who liked to belly dance and stack sats, which is fantastic.
She was early. She might have orange pilled Sailor, but
it could have been.
There's Natasha. So it's just such a good mix of all kinds of fun things. And you do a great job with it. You and your team. I can't give you enough kudos for all the time, work, and energy, and then quality that comes out of it. So I loved having you on after episode 2. We were busy after Vegas for a little bit, and then is it still it's quarterly, but working towards maybe bi-monthly?
I think that would be accurate to say, yes.
Yeah. And then
so subscribe. Definitely like it, subscribe it, because sometime soon, Trademark, you're going to get a notification that issue number 3 is out.
Issue number 3 will be coming right up. So I will direct people to your website, and let me get this up here.
And the
Okay,
website's definitely gonna start having a lot more content and information, educational data, stuff like this. Hold on, where is this? This is, oh yes. Hold on 1 second. Oh geez, that's how we roll. That's how we roll. Okay, so this is a square. So these PDFs right here is one is for Square and one is for Strike.
Right.
And then my buddy, actually the comedian guy we were just talking about, Steve X, he also has just a general one for restaurants and merchants as well. And we're going to have all 3 of these up on the website that people can just download, and they're just like 2-pagers that makes it very simple to sign up for, to accept Bitcoin. This is like
Nice.
page 1, page 2. That's it. That explains everything, So this is going to be good stuff.
It's getting easier. Accessibility, merchant wise, is the tools are just coming together.
Yeah.
BitcoinVideoMagazine.com.
Yep.
And there's the website. There's the episodes. You can find Bitcoin Magazine on YouTube, youtube.com/@Bitcoin Video Magazine. See it all there. Growing number of subscribers. On X at Bitcoin Video Mag. And you can find Tim Tayshun at Easy Coin Access. EZ Coin Access. Anything else I should direct our audience to connect, or anything else? Send in your clips.
Everyone, yeah, we're gonna, in the same way that I broke down those chapters, the whole episode will be pieced out like that onto social media. So that's kind of one of the next things. I'm going to start working on a geyser fund. I think I'm going to start working on a geyser fund this week. And I've got most of that outlined, how I'll put it together. And if anyone knows any, I put out that we would be willing to put 10% of the equity of the company and trade that for between 3.2 and 5 Bitcoin for a title sponsor. That's and we're willing to put forth the proof of work and make that payable in 24 installments through multi-signature escrow or whatever that can make those tranches payable, and that would give someone who's interested literally 10% of the company. And the Bitcoin Video Magazine is certainly what we're building first, but ultimately down the road with our brand, we'll be having little specials and longer, instead of 4 to 6 minute things, a little longer, deeper dives or documentaries or events, and if we do events, they will be anti-conferences that you're not going to have to sell a kidney in order to attend.
Yeah, I know. It's like, if you really want cool access and all that, it's like, oh, they can get pricey, and you're like, ram, separates the plebs from the whales, and and so the unconferences are cool because it's the vibe, the cypherpunks, and I love it. So you can connect with Tim on being part of it. Wow, some skin in the game there is a great opportunity for some people that see the future in this and want to be part of it and contribute. And seats are going to be limited. So
yeah, that'll be 24 issues, about 2 years. Might even tag an executive producer, thing up there or something like that. It's got to be a Bitcoiner or a Bitcoin company. There's a lot of other things that we can do with that. We're the media, so we can create all kinds of creative. I say that I create with the creative creations department, and so
we can do whatever the hell we want.
Of fun stuff we could do, yeah, for sure.
I am the media now.
Yes. So thank you
Wow.
so much for having me. It was
Yeah.
it was awesome, and thanks everyone for who's watched. Anyone on X, please follow Bitcoin Video Mag on X. That would be great. We do have some presence on Noster and other social medias as well, which we're going to start putting a little bit more time into. Trying to next step is one more step out of the fiat world. So if I could go from 4 days down to 3 days to do this an extra 24 hours a week, then that would be an outstanding accomplishment.
Awesome. Follow, like, subscribe, and connect if you're so inclined. Be part of the movement. Be the change you want to see in the world. So there you have it, Tim.
Yep,
It's
yep.
been awesome. Thanks so much
Awesome,
for
man.
joining me. It's been fun again catching up. Great seeing you in Vegas. Nice
Yes,
to
you too.
finally catch up again afterwards and see the issue.
Cool. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to the next one. And when you get clips that you really like that with your guests, definitely submit them as well. Any podcasters, because I don't want to just have the same rotating guests on the biggest, toppest, famous podcast, because this place was built by plebs, and it will be carried on by plebs.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I'll throw some stuff together because you get so much content and then you're like, oh yeah. So I gotta just take a little bit of time, make some clips, not just the AI generated stuff, but stuff that I remember that was cool. And I'll get you stuff and we can get
Awesome,
on there.
man.
That'd be great.
Very cool. All right,
Awesome.
cheers.
All right.
Take
Thanks
care.
so much,
Thank you very
everybody.
much. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for joining. Bye.
Bye, everybody.